bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We're meant to be.
Okay, we're live. And like that, we can see the comments from here. Okay. Hi, everyone. This is Monica Ramirez, Warrior of Love, and we are in Soul Talk. And this is a long time I haven't used StreamYard, so I apologize for any mistakes. And if you can hear me, I will appreciate if you can say hello to us. I have a very special invite for me that someone that is being my teacher for a long time that I've been following, and his name is Nicky Hamid. And let me tell you a little bit who he is, but he's going to tell you way more than I even know how to express. Nicky, he's been a teacher and a professor in the Psychology University, currently with a counseling and mentoring practice. He has run workshops and retreats all over the world, and currently is an author of many books. The latest book he has right now is Humanity Rising, A Journey from Fear and Control to Love and Freedom, that you can find this one in Amazon. And I really, really appreciate Nicky for accepting my invitation for Soul Talk. That I've been wanted to make you many questions every time that I've been following you through the years. And you are an amazing human, and you're in the part of the world that I love. I have many family and friends over there in New Zealand. Thank you, Nicky.
Thank you for inviting me, Monica. I'm so happy to be here. Yeah, I'd like to tell a story, if that's all right. And the story includes it's about my life, but it's like I want to illustrate what's happening now to us all in this world of chaos, because it's a theme of my life. See, I grew up in a family that allowed me to be the human I was, the little boy and the teenager. And so I felt my own freedom to choose. And I've always felt my own freedom to choose. And this is very poignant now because this is what is being appears to be having taken away from everyone. This was the plot. This is the big plot to deny humans their freedom. But it's been a plot for ages and ages. So I'd like to just illustrate this whole thing that's happening now, that has happened over past incarnations. Humans have been much maligned. You know, we have been made to feel lesser, to feel powerless, to feel that we're here and all we can do is survive from childhood to adulthood, from adulthood to old age. And the best we can hope for is an old age with a little bit of comfort and to die without pain and suffering. And so it's been hard yards for thousands of years. And now we have come to this lifetime, and this lifetime, all the oppression, all the suppression, all the manipulation, all the control has come to the surface because it's leaving. We as humans have to take our true place. And if you want to know what our true place is, just look at a baby. A baby comes straight from God. There's not a baby, no matter what color, race, creed. Beautiful baby is innocent and comes from God. And that's what humans are. And that's what we are. And we're children of the One. The children of Earth. The children of the sun, the moon, the stars, our planets, children of the cosmos. And we were born to be free. And that's where we are moving to, regardless of what you see playing out in this grand movie, because it's a movie. It's just a movie. It's playing out in each our own hologram. But we can change it because there's an undercurrent coming from Earth, an undercurrent coming from the sun and our planets, an undercurrent coming from the great central sun, and it's within coming up through us as well as coming down, the light coming down in. So it's there and it's rising. And the shadow, the dark side, if you like, which has always been there, this time is up. Because we came as children from God. We came with our knowing, with our innocence. And in the times of Mu, in the early stage, it was pristine. It was like the Garden of Paradise. What was that? They're pixies on now.
I just question regarding what you're saying, because there is a lot of confusion in what you just mentioned through my clients and so forth, because everybody wants to see that the controllers or the dark side or whatever, that is only the governments and so forth. In my own experience, it is not only the governments, it's not only the politicians, it's also happening at home with the narcissist people that probably we can grow up with it.
Well, when I talk about shadow, I'm not just talking about the government.
Yes.
What we're seeing in the movie being done en masse is another layer of that darkness, the shadow side. But it's even deeper than that. It isn't just on the physical side or the emotional or mental, it's on the spiritual side. People do not realize that in spirit, when we're out of form, there are battles going on. There's a battle between the light and dark. It's a jostling for position, because shadow is actually a neutral space. Shadow is the place between light and dark. And shadow in this universe we are in is the place of free will. It's a place of choice. Shadow has no good or bad. It's a place where you choose. And our place is to choose light.
Yes.
Choose to move towards the light, to grow, to expand. And that is, by definition, in the opposite direction to the dark.
Yes.
The dark intent has hijacked shadow when it wasn't meant to be hijacked, or it wasn't hijacked. It was something like an oyster. When it gets a little bit of grit in it, it builds around it a beautiful pearl. But that irritation moves it to produce that pearl. So it is going into the shadow place,
Yes.
feeling that opposition, but choosing the light, right?
Yes.
So shadow is not in and of itself positive or negative. It is a place of choice. So what do we have right now? Every human being, from their understanding, from their awareness, from their awakeness or asleepness, is being asked to make a choice.
Yes.
And the choice is towards your heart, towards the light, towards seeing with the eyes of love, or turning around and being attracted back to what you've been taught. Fear, we say, anything that's fear-based. And so everyone has a choice. This is why the momentum of the change we wish to have in this world is going to be made by people coming to the decision, enough is enough. That's all they need to do. What they've done is switched off, switched around, begun to turn around 180 degrees towards the light. Then we have the waking up. But all it needs is for any one of us to say, enough's enough.
Yes.
I stand for me. I stand for love because I am love. Not love is out there, away, but I am love. Look at that baby. It's just love. This is who you are. This is who I am. And
And
it's simple, it's difficult.
if we understand as humans that we are free, that we're love, in that moment we can change it. Any situation we are. We can be in the darkest place until we say enough is enough,
Enough.
and start making our own choices and not following the old programs that those are
Yeah.
getting us stuck.
And so an angel is not all sweetness and light.
Mhm.
An angel says, no, not on my watch. No, this is as far as I go. You do not step over that line with me, and I will not go in that direction. I'm going in another. Bless you. See you later.
Yes.
I wanted to give a perspective through my life because I grew up with this kind of awareness. I knew the elementals. I traveled multi-dimensionally. I didn't understand a lot of it because I was a human being doing a human life. So I was a teenager. I had my ups and downs, and I've always had ups and downs, just like everyone else. Why? Because I'm always being given the opportunity to make the choice in any given moment to make the choice. There's the pull this way to turn round and choose love, to choose light, to choose my heart knowing. And as I do this more and more and more, you get quicker and quicker at it. You still have to face the ups and downs of your emotional cycles, your mental cycles, because there are mental cycles as well, physical cycles, up and down, their cycles, their waves. We still have to negotiate that, just as we negotiate our circadian rhythm, the time to go to sleep and the time to wake up. If we don't interfere too much, we get plenty enough sleep. If the mind gets working, we don't. So we learn to know our own cycles. And if you know things go by cycle and you're aware of what's happening with you moment to moment, then you make the adjustment. You watch the news and something's going in and you feel the anger coming or the fear coming. You step back. Aha, there I am. Turn round. Hand on heart. Choose the light. Until you can do it like that. It's practice. Practice makes perfect. And it is dropping, as we go along, we're dropping all the beliefs. Now, as a child, I grew up with this. I grew up with awareness of the presence of my teachers, if you like, and mentors. Because none of us are alone. We all have an entourage, every single one of us, and they're always there, and they're waiting. They're waiting for what? They're waiting for us to ask. In any given moment, ask. Because they are not going to violate our free will. They understand how beautiful the journey is we are doing. And we must make the choice. Because how will we be strong and true if we hadn't made the choice
Mhm.
against all odds to choose the light? But they're there to help. And they see things we don't. I mean, all the stuff on clearing of the body and everything. To become aware and understand one thing, but you don't have to do it all. You can ask your soul family, hey guys, would you come into my auric field and pluck out? I'm feeling something that's bringing me down. I don't know what it is. It might be something that's jumped into your auric field from someone else. Shadow that you're not aware of. Sometimes we can pick it up, but we don't have to pick it all up because we've got help who can do that like that. They can take away and immediately you feel, yeah. And you don't have to know. You don't have to know it all because it's beautifully arranged. You and I, Monica, you and I, many who are listening to us, help others, have our practices and so on. And what are we doing? We're putting a hand out to pull a person up to a level where they feel empowered. And
Yes.
we've done our job, right? We've done our job. They may fall again, but we've done our job. So we here and we heard the call to put our hand out, our heart out with loving kindness. That's why we came. That's our purpose. Apart from taking in more light, the more light you have, the more power you are giving to the change of the whole. So it's one of the greatest joys. For me, it's the greatest joy to be a part of somebody else's lighting up. It's their lighting up, not mine. They are doing it, not me, but to be a part of it. That is pure joy for me, and I'm sure it is for you.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. So,
I
so what I'm saying is, those who have passed, those in spirit, don't you think those who are, if you like, at a higher level of knowing at the moment will do the same for you? Because there is a hierarchy, but the hierarchy is not power over, it's authority in the truth of the light. So we're co-creating. So if you like, it's bringing our company of heaven into our lives is a huge boon that most people are forgetting. We don't have to do it on our own anymore. And now, for my life, this is the way it's been. I've had, if you like, call them masters or whatever, but beings walking along beside me
Yes.
whenever I turned round and asked.
I
So when I was training as a psychologist, and my training was more at the university, opportunities, different people coming with different parts that would add to my understanding. They didn't add to my examination performance necessarily, but they added to my wisdom. It was like it was all planned for me. After later, you could see it, but at the time, wasn't aware of it. It was all planned for me. But uh, I had, as a social psychologist, I was becoming very aware of social movements and the influence of people on people, because I understood you couldn't understand people alone. You have to understand the interaction, because a lot of what people think is what a lot of it is them thinking of what others think.
yes.
Yeah, right. And so they get caught up in taking on other people's thoughts as their own. And now people are in the process of breaking all that. But social psychology became very important to me because I also saw how shadow was manipulated people's thoughts. And as people come together, there would be this interchange of shadow. So a lot of the negative things that happen between people is through the manipulation of these shadow presences that have come from each other.
Just to clarify with everybody about the shadow, what you're talking, and correct me please if I understood it wrong. For me, what you're saying, the shadow, it is basically the ego, the way of people trying to manipulate and control other people in their own lives and dreams, and not making them
More than
believe in
that. It's,
themselves.
it's more than that. It's more
Yes.
than that, because it is beings who are darker, who get their kicks and get their feed from the fear of others.
Hmm.
So if they can manipulate your thoughts and jump from you to someone else, and they can only jump into a place where there is a wound.
Hmm.
So they jump into your auric field into a wound, and then they sit there
Yes.
and sneakily feed, because shadow is very sneaky.
Yes.
And this economy is happening all the time. And so we're feeling it. So you just need to look at something on the TV, in the news, and you feel yourself being drawn in. It's not just the item on the news, on TV or whatever. It's an influence that is trying to hold you, but it doesn't. It sneaks into your auric field, and then it plays on your self doubt.
Yes.
So it has to be cleared.
Yes.
So clearing is a daily thing. Clearing is bringing the light, bringing your entourage into health, because
Yes.
they can see what you can't. If you passed over, you would have the sight to see. But we've got so much to handle. You can't expect us to know everything that we need to know. It would blow our minds.
Yes, I agree. I
So I want to go. I still haven't gone very far in my story because I think it's relevant here. So I studied social psychology, and it's the influence of mind and the psyche on each other, and the mass mind, and the tricks that we use. If you like, people call it the psyop tricks, but they're not. They've been around for ages and ages and ages. Social psychology deals with a lot of these. and illustrates it. So I had an opportunity as a lecturer and professor in psychology to teach my students these things, the way they influence. And I was able to see it start to happen. I mean, COVID was so obvious right at the beginning for me and what would happen.
Mhm.
I'm not saying see how right I was, but we knew all these things. We've known all these things for a long time, and it's a simple matter of step by step that they bled, and the outcome we have is something which has been understood for a long, long time. But I used to watch the news and read the odd paper. But when President Kennedy was assassinated, because it was part of the Cold War between those times,
Yeah,
Russia and
Russia,
more, lot
United
more
States.
CIA ops and so on. I got so angry, and I'm not an angry person. I don't get angry, but I got so angry. I thought, no, I'm not going to read another newspaper or listen to the TV news again. I didn't. That was back in what, 1962, 63?
Yeah, around there.
63, yeah, around about there. And I didn't. But you know what? I said, I'm going to take the life as I find it. This is going to characterize me, for me, who humans are. Not the papers, not the news, none of that. And you know what? Over those years, and still now, I will say that humans are beautiful. The indomitability of the human spirit just gets me. How people will go day after day to a job they don't really like and bring home the money, have food on the table, and build a nice house, and have a little security, and enjoy a family time and maybe even a holiday from time to time. No, but they do it against all odds. Did it against dehumanizing. They did it against gradually being poisoned by the water and by the food and
And the,
by thoughts, yes, about thoughts and about media, and still have kindness for their neighbor or kindness for an old person.
I
Well,
agree, Nikki.
so when you ask me, I mean, I would hear about the news because people would talk about it, but I had no interest in what was happening in the world. There was a Cold War. There was a threat of nuclear for years and years and years. But I didn't know any of the detail I didn't want to know. I saw in my life, not just in New Zealand, but the other countries, because I worked in China for a while, I saw people, good people, very seldom. There were rat bags, there were narcissists, there were odd people like that, but they were odd. They were the odd ones. They weren't the usual people.
You haven't not noticed, or something that I have noticed is since the pandemic that everything that it was needing to show or it was needing to clear and clean, it just show up. The people that they were a little bit narcissists and but they could control before, after the pandemic they couldn't control themselves anymore. So they show up more of that darkness outside that they're so obvious who they are, even to themselves if they want to lie to themselves or not, but they're so obvious now that they can't hide the darkness anymore.
You could say the shadow can't hide
Mm-hmm.
because more light's coming in. It's
Mm-hmm.
coming in from underneath. You see,
Yes.
the karma of the ages is rising,
Mm-hmm.
and it has to leave. And we get the opportunity to see it, and love it free, or go down with it, or look back and bemoan what has happened. It's about real choice now, and the choice is light.
Yeah.
Well, look towards the light, not to ignore that, but see it. And when you can see it, once you see the shadow, I mean, who work in the psychic and have these entities come. How do you get rid of the identities? And you say, I see you, be gone. I see you. And they do not like to be seen.
Hmm.
But you see them with the light, they have to receive. They have to receive.
And that's where the boundaries are so important. In the moment you put a boundary to someone that is in conscience in what they're doing, because come on, we wish everybody be awake and aware of whatever that comes out from their mouth and their emotions, but they're not. Not everybody is. But in the moment you put a boundary and you start protecting yourself, like you're not gonna treat me this way because I love myself, and this is what I deserve. And if not, we have to walk away. It doesn't matter, it's our own family or what it is, because it is very important this time till we learn to love ourselves and
Exactly.
and,
Yeah.
and learn to put those boundaries. And that's a way to put a stop to those dark shadows.
There's a Chinese saying, um, the best way to avoid evil is to make energetic progress in the good. So I do not walk away from you because of who you are. I walk this way because this is where I'm going.
Yes.
A huge difference. If
Yeah.
it is, I can't stand you, I've got to get out of your presence, it still holds you. But if it is, no, not on my watch, see you later, if at all. But it's precious because w- when you look, when you get used to looking into light, you don't just see the narcissist or whatever. You see a beautiful soul in there, but they don't see it, and it's not your business to fix them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, my next book, I'm writing it now. It's called Beautiful Human, because I believe that this is where where we're going, to acknowledge that not just we are loving beings, we are love. That's who we are. That's just who we came as. And so it's dropping this unworthiness, dropping this, I've got to be somebody. You already are someone, beautiful being. And
Yes. And
uh, so all through this pandemic, we see all sorts of hateful things, and there's still a lot of things to come through the aftermath, because there's going to be an awful lot of pain and soul searching for people who've made decisions that they find out were not in their best interests or others, but they were innocent to the depth which with which um, the darkness will go. It's
how,
that, yeah, innocent, and it's so easy to say, well, how can a person, for example, just get a short training and do the and promote it? They don't even have a medical degree, but promote it. What happens when or if they find out what they've been doing, the truth of what they've been doing? How devastating that will be. And we cannot say to someone who does that, well, you should have known better.
yeah. I remember Many of us we have said, no, I'm not coming back the next life to planet Earth. I'm done. I have said it many times before, until one day I actually remember remember when I came over here and why I decided to choose this time life as a human, and it was because of love of human beings, of love of this planet, of love of everything. And when you finally remember why you're here in this timeline, in this moment, that's when everything is way more easier. That just arguing that, oh my God, I'm not coming back in the next life. And if everybody remember why we came here, that it
Yeah,
was for love,
yeah,
for,
yeah,
that is
yeah.
the game changer.
Yes, that's right. Well, coming through all this, I may have seen what's coming, but there's something overarching. For me, all my life is I've got immersed in my human experience and had to uh, step back to understand some of the things I'm experiencing. Um, but I know when I look out there at people and where we're going, I've known that the light will win, and it has won. The light has already won. I saw when I was 18 years old the future. I knew that the ascension was coming. I knew that is going to be some rough times because of people waking up. Uh, but I see where we're moving to, and it is amazing. It's amazing. And so, if you like, whatever's happened, and of times I don't understand exactly why, um, I know that's there. So it's always been for me, you go this day, you follow the golden nuggets this day, and it all works out, and it always works out. So fear is unnecessary. It has been unnecessary for me. I felt that on occasions, but basically, love is the power. You love fearlessly. When you're in love, you love fearlessly because you know that that's all there is. That's all you are. And so, as long as you can say with this little mind, you don't have to know it all. Don't try. If you can't fathom it out, don't try. Don't try. Ask, and it shall be given to you. So when I'm not sure, I say, please show me the next thing I need to know. It may not be, not, I don't even need to know the answers of this thing that's worrying me. Please show me the next thing I need to know. And you follow. And you're always, 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 always given what you need. Always. We just humans don't like some of the things we're given that we need.
I'm gonna ask you a question that I know that how I work with people and so forth, but I believe it is very important in this moment right now, people to learn how to love themselves. How do you teach people? Because we forgot. That was the problem. We all know, but we forgot how to love ourselves. And I believe that is the basis of everything. If we remember, or we, yes, if we remember how to love ourselves again, that can change the whole planet, not only ourselves.
Yeah,
How do you
yeah.
teach people how to love themselves again?
It's not in a specific feeling. This is, people tend to think the things I need to do in order to love myself. You don't. It's so simple. Put your hand on your heart. Close your eyes. Take a couple of deep breaths and just feel. There's a settling. There's a settling in the heart. You open your eyes again just for a moment. Is that settling? It's subtle, it's subtle, it's subtle. But when you can settle and get used to it, do this often, you get used to that feeling. That feeling is the beginning. And then a smile comes. I mean, you've got the smile on your face too. It's an inner smile. Your eyes are shining. That's the love. That is love. So when you stop, it comes naturally. That love is the love you are. That is loving yourself.
Yes.
It's that simple. It's that simple. And it's just keeping on doing it, keeping on choosing it. When you feel like a buzz, you do it. When you're in a difficult situation, you can't, you don't know what to do. Do that. Just do it any time. And after a while, you don't need to put your hand on your heart, although I still do.
Yes. That is
And
very
when you feel that love, that's what you are. You are love. And that's why it's difficult for people to find it, because they're looking somewhere out there or looking somewhere for it. And it's there all the time. And what's happening now as these energies come up, it's more and more available to us, coming from the inside out and from the outside in. They're the two energies and they intertwine. They are within each other, like the tube torus, the tube torus, the two from the one, from the one to the one, at the heart, at the soul. Soul being is coming in to embodiment. Every time we put our hand on the heart, we signal love, we touch our soul, and our soul presence comes as the smile. That smile is your soul presence. That soul in embodiment. Wow. Wow. Everybody can see you. And we shine. We shine. We we shine and it's there and we can have it any time we wish. It's only our mental mind.
that is
And
true.
yeah.
We tend to look everything from outside of us when in reality it is inside of us.
Absolutely. And there, yeah. Yeah, and it's that just simple switch around instead of you're looking for love, I am love. And then it comes. It comes. And isn't it true? The simple is always the most profound. So people want grounding. For me, grounding is when you feel your inner smile in your body and you feel that radiance and you feel your eyes sort of almost going glassy because you love, you think of a little kitten or a puppy and you just feel this love for them and your eyes sparkle. That's soul being. That's who we are. So
Yeah,
when we can walk into the street, like at the moment in New Zealand, we have a convoy uh, in the capital city. But if you can walk in that street past a policeman and feel this love, come on, it would melt. It melts. I've seen it melt people. Not that you're doing it deliberately, but because their soul recognizes.
that is true.
It is true. It is true. So
When
the
people,
touch of love,
when people,
go on.
but I'm sorry, when people ask me, how do I protect myself? It's like, love yourself. That's the best way you can protect yourself. Open your heart and love yourself. And there's not better protection that you can have.
Yeah, because I mean, um, we could say energetically, what you do is you expand your auric field, and so it becomes impenetrable
Mm-hmm.
because of the frequency it's giving off. Yeah, so that's one way to explain it. Um, but yes, I think empaths or people who call themselves empaths have difficulty because they're used to maybe not in this lifetime, but brought it over from other lifetimes where you feel what another person's feeling. It triggers your own memories, your own feeling. So it becomes an energetic in your auric field. You bring that out, and then you go away and you've caught it, as it were. You've caught it. Knowing your boundaries is being different. It's not holding back from understanding and feeling somebody else's pain or suffering, but it's knowing it without allowing its basis into your auric field. Because the basis of the pain is a shadow within them.
Yeah.
So it's if you are clear enough to go beyond sympathy, beyond empathy, and into compassion. Compassion understands. I've walked that mile, or I know what walking that mile is. I understand, and I so love them because you honor them. You don't see them as victims. You honor the journey they're on, and you can where you can you help them on the journey, but you do not take the feeling of it on.
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. It is important to remember that. And if we are aware of our energy field, we can feel the shadow self when it's presenting to ourselves and says, if this thought is mine, if
Mm.
this emotion is mine, so we can reject it, or says, I send love to that thought or
Mm.
to that emotion or whatever, and it's easy to get rid of it if we become aware of our own energy around us and
Yeah.
our own thoughts. And that's
Yeah.
why it's important to become aware all the time.
That's right. And it's compassion, you see. And your compassion comes uh, very much from how you've treated yourself. You see, if you are, we say, loving yourself, but if you experience the beauty of who you are, you also know that you have experienced so many of the things that other people have experienced. Not in this lifetime necessarily, but you know it. Otherwise, you would not feel sad. Sad is the human uh, signal, feeling sad for other people. But you understand and you see, like, for example, me, instead of being frustrated at seeing all these people all these years going to work 9 to 5 jobs, slaving for their family, instead of thinking, poor things, this is not fair, I felt the honor of knowing them and the strength and beauty of the human spirit that they were showing me, and compassion for their choice of this lifetime and the honor of them walking their walk. So my sadness turn to joy, if you like, or at least comfort and calm and peace. And that's one of the things we gain from this. Because, you know, on more than one occasion, I've heard from those, my, if you like, a higher team, that one of the thing that human beings stand out and will stand out when they have risen to their highest as a collective is their compassion. Humans have learned and had to learn, if you like, compassion in so many ways, in all its form, compassion. And when they go out into the cosmos to teach, as they will, because this vastest universe, and there's a lot of learning for a lot of beings throughout the universe. When humans go out as ambassadors, that's what they will teach, is what compassion truly is. How beautiful is that?
Yes, the moment we put the shoes of others, of other person, we can understand why they're doing, even if it's very painful, even if it's very hurtful, but we can understand better why they're doing that, what they're doing, and we can feel compassion for them. But if we don't put the shoes of others, we're never going to understand, and it is going to be very hard to have compassion.
Mm.
So we need to actually put the shoes of the person, so like that we can feel compassion for them. It doesn't matter the experience that we're having with them.
Yes, yeah, yeah, it is. And humanity as a collective is going to have to do that because the aftermath of all these things that are happening, as we heal, as it were, there's a great deal of healing to be done. But when we've completed that, we will have something so beautiful for God to spread to the universe because other beings from other dimensions will be able to come near you and I and all those who are listening, come in their presence and they will feel what compassion is because humans will emanate that knowing and all the understanding and all the light packets which contain all the experiences of what we have been through to earn the beauty of our compassion. And they will be able to get direct experience by being in the presence of a human.
That is true.
That, yeah, and I wrote just a little while ago my posting from the fairies, how the fairies have been, the fairy kingdoms have been bereft, or if you like, without the presence for a long, long time of human as Christed being, as a light being, because that's part of something they learned from. And so they're so looking forward to us coming back, or if you like, standing in our full glory as beings on this planet together, unified, and sharing with the other kingdoms.
It is time.
It
It is
is,
time.
it is time. So you can see I've walked through life with rose-colored spectacles.
I agree. Nikki, are you teaching any classes? Are you planning to teach a workshop or something very soon?
No. I find with the Facebook, I'm very busy with people, and with the uh, well, the books. I've got about 5 books in the pipeline eventually, but also I have a mission. I have a mission and that is to build a college or university of what do you call it? Creative self-empowerment.
Hmm.
And that is my vision. It's been a vision for many, many years. I'm just waiting for the money to come in, but it'll have a community and it will be a college that will offer a degree, as it were, or a diploma, but it will have an outreach. It will have a community outreach which grows. So it's a big, big project. And that's something I'm hoping to put my time into.
In New Zealand, or it will be online?
They haven't told me. It will probably have a lot online path as well, but it will be physical. It will be a physical college, and when they show me the land, I'll know.
I know I have a vision also of a retreat, but right now it's still in my heart, in my mind. But soon we will have that.
Yeah. Well, this has been. There were 2 or 3 times in my life that I thought it was going to happen. So it's been around for 50 years. My first opportunity was about 45 years ago. I thought it was going to happen, and then it fell through. So Um, I had to be patient, but I don't think you'll have to wait that long because when the reset happens, there's going to be a lot of opportunity for those with humanitarian projects.
Then do you think there's gonna be a reset coming very
Absolutely,
soon?
absolutely. I don't know when, but yes, it's always been on the cards. It has to be because instead of being slaves to money, we have to show that we can be masters of it. Otherwise, we won't have learned anything.
I agree. I agree. It has to come the change.
Yeah,
We
yeah,
can right now we can feel the change in ourselves individually, but it has to be collective. It has to be in the collective, not only one by one, and one is having an amazing experience and your neighbor is not. So that causes envy, competition, and that causes more problems
yeah.
because one is enjoying life and the other one is not. So it
Mm,
has to come in the collective. It has to be in the collective. So
yes.
like that, the shadow is not present anymore.
No, yeah, that's right. I think that if people want the greatest outward sign that we're really onto it, is just watch the number of people who say in their own way, "I've had enough." Whether you've had the or not doesn't matter now. It doesn't matter. People had enough, and when they stand and say they have enough, that's the turning around. And we are right on the cusp. We're actually past the cusp. Things are starting to happen. We're going to have the change. We just will have the difficulty of breaking through what what psychologists call mass formation, the hypnosis, um, because of fear, long-term fear, not just the fear of this pandemic, but there was fear before that. Think of there was 30 or 40 years of fear of nuclear holocaust. But that was mostly unspoken. It was in the hearts of people. And so all that anxiety uh, accumulated to the point when we had COVID, so many people seemed to be hypnotized
Yeah,
because it was a way of them releasing that fear. But now, uh, yeah, it's the beginning of the end right now. So uh,
yeah, we
we
can.
we we won't give up hope. We've all had come because we heard the call,
Yeah,
and the call's always been there. And heart will win. It will just be quicker, easier if we don't falter.
I
And
agree.
Yeah, and anyone who feels like a falter and doesn't want to falter, come to me. I'll give you a kick.
Oh my goodness. I hope I go soon to New Zealand. I have to go to New Zealand. It's in my heart. I believe I had past lives over there. It is beautiful beside that. It is
Yeah,
just beautiful.
it is. It's pristine. It's sort of has a naivety about it. You
Hmm.
know, it's like there's lots of people there, but it's uh, has an innocence. That's why I think the New Zealand people got so duped by the mad woman, because it was so, a lot of the people are sort of happy-go-lucky, let live, let, let people do their own thing. And so now they've got to really stand up, but they're doing it. People can only take so much. So you'll be most welcome in New Zealand. Yeah.
Thank you, Nikki. When is your next book coming out?
Hopefully the end of February. Um, yeah, yes, and it'll be. This is the first one in which way do I go? That way.
There, a little
Yeah,
bit more in the middle.
that way.
Uh,
Oh,
there, there it is.
yeah, yeah,
Humanity Rising by Nicky Hamid.
yeah. It's a journey from control and fear to love and freedom, and it's part of a series. It's the first one in the series of Ascension Reminder series. So that's the first one. The second one will be Beautiful Human, and so on. Yeah.
Guys, you can find it in Amazon. And thank you so much, Nikki. I really appreciate your time, and thank you everybody for your time, and for the ones that are gonna see this podcast later on. I really thank you with all my heart, and we'll see you in the 21st with Suzanne Bishop in Soul Talk. Thank you, Nikki. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much,
Thank you,
and
Monica.
thank you for your time, and thank you everybody. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
In the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth